Uh, Good day, all of you. So this little section at the end of the interview is an addendum that both Professor Amarakirti and I wanted to add, simply to show you that in the English interview, it really didn't matter very much if you made some mistakes, if the communication happened successfully. There was one instance where we both thought what he wanted to say didn't come out properly, so he's going to explain what that was, something that his supervisor said. But otherwise, the communication, I don't think anyone would have even noticed where he may have made some non-standard usages, because it really does not matter. And if someone like Professor Amarakirti can admit that publicly and still speak and show you that how little being worried about grammar matters, he's giving the best example of how you should go ahead and still use the language. So we thought, without trying to edit or correct, there's absolutely no correction needed. We are just going to have an addendum here. And I also wanted to show off my books the way he's showing off his books. So I got that chance as well. So my theory is, if we show off everything else like cars and shoes and clothes, we should also be able to, feel happy about showing off our books.
Books,
So
yes.
because of that, a small like 5-minute discussion, he will explain which he thinks wasn't explained well, and then we will formally end the interview again, right? So Professor Amarakirti, let's just continue and see where we want to make an explanation here.
Yeah, and if you listen to my Sinhala interview, and I may have made so many mistakes in Sinhala too, like incomplete sentences. Perhaps I would start sentence, in some way, but I would end it another way, in Sinhala. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
But in English interview, I thought I should make some corrections, especially the sentence my professor Luis Madurera wrote at the end of my first ever piece of academic writing in English. What he said was, "You have great ideas. I like nothing more than to see them clearly and elegantly expressed." That's in English, okay? I like nothing more than to um, uh, see them clearly and elegantly expressed. That's the sentence. In the first interview, I think I missed more, the word more there. So it doesn't make sense without that more. And also it is a beautiful way of putting it. The English one, professor's sentence. It's a nice idiomatic English. So if we take out more, it doesn't make sense. The another place I noticed, and you might have noticed some other mistakes as an English teacher. One place I wanted to correct was this. I said Martin Wickramasinghe attended to Buona Vista College. It should be actually attended. To is not needed there. But when I, spoke really fast, I didn't even notice that I made a mistake there. But it does make sense there. I don't have to actually correct it. People will understand what I meant. Then another place I said my Sinhala teacher, A-level Sinhala teacher, Mr. Dodango Legama, graduated from the Central College, Anuradhapura Mahava Central College. That graduating, that word is used in that sense in the US, but not in Sri Lanka, I guess. We don't say
graduated from Montessori kindergarten.
Exactly. Yes. Because I basically I spoke English, my English mostly in the US, so I picked up some US expressions. Sometimes could be confusing in Sri Lanka. There I wanted to highlight that. And then another mistake that you pointed out, that was I didn't actually notice that. instead of he recommended reading certain book, I may have said it recommended. Yeah, it
Something
doesn't make
like that.
sense
It
if it.
hardly made a difference to the meaning. So,
Yeah.
it really didn't matter. But
Yes.
since we want to make a point that mistakes are all right if the communication happens successfully, but if you realize it's a mistake, it's also okay to correct.
Yeah.
So this is neither of us are propagating then saying, use substandard English. If you can get there, perfect. But in the journey, we are saying, don't worry. Because I don't think anyone noticed Professor Amarakirti. And the funny thing is, English is in such a position in Sri Lanka, we might not notice the Sinhala mistakes that all of us make, but immediately catch the English ones, which I also make quite a lot. Everybody does. Native speakers do. In communication, it doesn't matter, but this is what learners forget.
Yeah. And also, like, I have this kind of obsession of like being correct in speaking English. Still, I cannot get rid of it. It's subconsciously or the unconsciously, it just kind of like pops up and say, okay, be correct, be correct. That's a kind of burden on me. And especially when I am in conversation with Sri Lankan people whose English is better than mine. Yeah.
I would say it's a very natural fear. At least you're talking. But in Sri Lanka, we have people who don't talk at all. And I think you could overcome that no talking system, no talking blockade, simply because you went abroad and you were in a context where people will not ridicule you or laugh at you. So one of the appeals I consistently make to the English speaking public is, please withhold that ridicule, please withhold that laughter. Because sometimes very, very wrongly, we even laugh at accent and we make professional jokes about it.
Yeah.
Not just the Sinhalized English accent, we joke about the Tamil accent. If you take some place, which ran on that. So that the accent is a very personal, intimate thing, which might make people feel bad. So this is what the fact that even at this level, you might make a mistake and still all of us understand. And the only thing where communication wasn't clear was the nothing more than. When you said nothing then, there was a problem in comprehension. And therefore, it was all right to have this addendum. Otherwise, we wouldn't have even had it. It was absolutely, like for many of us, all right.
Yeah.
So what?
And that and it's a beautiful idiomatic expression, that Professor sentence. Yeah,
exactly.
it is important to capture it like the way it should be.
What would your advice be, Professor Amarakirti? I know this is an question I can never answer, right? For someone who doesn't have that luck or whatever of going abroad and being immersed in a country, in a context where they use the language naturally. If you don't get that chance, what would your advice be to people here who would like to learn like you did, from nothing to proficiency? How would they get that exposure?
Well, that's a kind of difficult question to answer. It's extremely difficult. One thing is that one of the worries I have is that younger Sri Lankan younger scholars of mine at Peradeniya, who try to speak their English and learn, improve their English, tend to think that if they can somehow send an email and somehow say something at the meeting, is enough. And for them, I want to say that yes, I respect the fact that they want to speak even in so-called broken English, but still it's worthwhile to try to learn it better, speak it better, and keep learning and keep observing how people uh, speak the language correctly, and keep listening to real good quality international radio programs and watch movies, things like that. But some of my younger colleagues, junior colleagues, tend to think that if they can like somehow handle kind of English in day-to-day situations, that's enough. For university scholars, especially people in the humanities, that's not enough, I think. Yeah, that's what I think. Reading for me, like you can see in the background, all kinds of books. 90% of those books are in English. So keep reading.
And if there is a problem economically buying the books, you would say a library?
Yes, of course. Yes, and we have like, especially at Piradini, we have the largest library in the country. And in Sri Lanka, library system is not all that bad actually. University libraries are quite good. And they are there. I think we need to make use of them.
One of the, sorry, I keep switching off the fan. One of the luckiest things I think in Sri Lanka is actually the library system. And now if we can somehow make people aware that it exists, I asked you in the earlier interview whether it's still there, and you said it's still there, right? And if we can get the new books that come in, the YA, the Harry Potters, into village libraries, I think there is a lot we can do with already existing resources.
Yeah.
So what I'm happy about what you said is, this is to make young people aware that it's there. Find it, go. It doesn't cost money to go to a library. It costs time and it costs dedication. It's absolute joy. It's absolute fun if you discover the joy of reading.
Oh yeah, my goodness.
So,
you know what? If you ask me to name the most pleasurable thing in my life, I would say reading. That's reading. Reading, it could reading anything actually. Literature, yes, primarily literature. Yeah, I don't know if I am addicted to this particular pleasure, or it is a kind of intrinsically pleasurable. I don't know, but I think for me, reading good piece of literature, even beautifully crafted one single paragraph, that mental exercise, that exercise of imagination, you cannot compare it with anything else. If you are into it, if you have discovered the pleasures of that reading.
I think all writers would agree with you there, any language, any writer. So I'm glad we had the interview. Thank you very much, Professor Amarakirti, for the main interview. And I'm extremely glad that we had this addendum where both of us watched the interview and thought, let's make it a point to show that, yes, mistakes were made. Yes, it's okay to admit that. And yes, it's okay to also correct what had to be corrected because the communication didn't get through.
Yeah, and also thank you for suggesting this particular way of handling it. This addendum idea, it came from you. I think it's really brilliant, and also it shows like how brilliant English teacher you are. Otherwise, you cannot come up with that.
I don't think so. But just to tell you, as someone who knows me quite well, what I'm trying to do is make available to others what had been made available to me.
Yeah.
Like throughout my life, I had your contact, for example.
Yes, yes.
Then I've had contact with other scholars, other learners of English, other writers, and I've been extremely blessed for that company. Yeah. So through my YouTube channel, I might have a chance to, I have heard you all talk before, to take it to other people so that they will also probably get the influence that someone like me grew up with. Yeah. Because I got influenced by both worlds, and so did you. You created it when it wasn't given it to you naturally. Yeah. Well, as I got it naturally. So both are possible.
Yes, both are possible. Yes.
And it's possible to have inherited it and not see the beauty of it also. That is also their right.
Exactly.
So what I'm trying to show in this YouTube channel is to show that what I have learned from, I also put it out there. And thank goodness for people like you who are willing to say a lot of those things, repeat it for the public as well. So I'm so grateful, Professor Amarakirti, for both interviews. And let's hope people listen, and let's hope they take your inspiration at practical level for what you did now and for what you said about your life journey. So thank you very much again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye.
Bye.